side. George Mason. Wait, no. Psych. George Mason's on the red side, and UT Dallas is on the blue side. So we're back to our original, the original game 1 sides.
Yeah. Morgana ban again, so it's looking like similar bans to the previous game. Oh, and Skarner was banned this time. They don't want to first pick it, I guess.
Yeah, taking Skarner away from Fire, we've already established. Very good call. Firefly's performance on Skarner, very dominant. And on the flip side, taking Olaf away from Faith is also a very good idea. He's incredible on that Olaf. So it's not that shocking to see him taken away.
Yeah, and Rakan first pick, so I'm going to guess that Xayah is going to be picked up in these next 2 champions. You really don't want to give away the Xayah Rakan combo. Although it did get nerfed, it's still really strong.
Oh, it got nerfed? When was that?
This last patch, the Xayah Rakan together got nerfed. The Xayah W no longer applies on the auto attacks for both of them. So if one of them autos, it doesn't do both of the projectiles. They both have to auto. So the combo together got nerfed, but Rakan got buffed solo.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. That is true.
Oh, and they're going to pick
Granted,
Karma and potentially give over.
No.
And the Trundle that didn't get banned this game is going to be picked up as soon as they see the Karma. I think that's because they expect a tank jungle, and Trundle's so good into tank jungles.
Ezreal Karma is a very intimidating lane in my opinion. You have so much mobility with Ezreal's Arcane Shift as well as the speed ups from the Shield of Karma. That's really intimidating. He's going to be able to take... Is
and they go with the Kai'Sa. I see a lot of Klepto, as well as I'll occasionally see Ares.
Okay, yeah.
I think the Ares one.
It's very dangerous. Dude, this is already shaping up to be such an amazing game. You have the Ezreal, the Karma, the Jax against the Kai'Sa. The Kai'Sa, the Rakan, and the Trundle. All of these champions are so incredibly amazing to watch. Kai'Sa, of course, can pop off and teleport to an enemy and just delete them. Ezreal dances around the enemy, lays into them, and does so much damage. And of course, Jax. I mean, we already saw Firefly on Jax. He's able to pop off incredibly well. So everybody's gonna have so much damage, and everybody's gonna have so many play-making opportunities. I'm already really excited to see this game.
Yeah, and the mid lane pool is getting like clenched here as none of the teams pick their mid laners. The Zed and Anivia get banned, and that Zed's just a respect ban after that last game. You can't just let him have it. And then the Ori bot on a ban to follow it up. I'm gonna guess
absolutely
Victor's going to be picked in this game, probably. Just because everything else is getting banned. I'm thinking Victor Rise is going to be the mid lane matchup.
I could definitely see that, although we haven't gotten an opportunity to see Route pop off on
I guess
Victor.
we're not getting Victor, so that got
It
banned
seems
too.
like Route's, every time he plays Victor, he ends up losing. Play Victor anymore. So maybe that's for the better.
I think it's largely because of all the games having such an early snowball. Victor needs a little bit of time to scale.
No, absolutely. It also helps when he doesn't disconnect, but that's that's in the past. We don't want to talk about.
Oh, and a Cassiopeia. Yeah.
Interesting. I do think that Cassiopeia recently did get she didn't get directly buffed, but because of the changes to mana flow ban, she actually benefits a lot from that change, where you now get more mana based off of hitting abilities. And with Cassiopeia's Q, she's able to spam as many abilities as she damn well pleases, so she's going to be able to benefit a lot from that.
Yeah.
Malphite, though.
And the AP item changes a little while ago also really helped here. And
Yeah.
the other thing is the like presence of mind just got changed. That's not quite as good for her anymore because she can't just fight every time she levels up.
Yeah, and you already know my opinion on the Malphite. I don't think Malphite's a great champion, really, in this situation or any situation.
And we're gonna get the Syndra into the Cassiopeia, and Ornn is the final pick. So
yeah,
I think
I really like Syndra. Good champion, and I also think it's a good champion to pick into Cassiopeia. You're able to stay back and just hit or you're able to CS from a distance, and Cassiopeia shouldn't be too much of a problem for you.
yeah, I do think that it could go either way with these two team comps. Syndra can just delete people, but at the same time, Cassiopeia just brings so much DPS into these fights. I do think that the Malphite and Trundle might be able to hold the front line on long enough that Cassiopeia can just do tons of DPS to win these team fights. And of course, Kai'Sa's there, who I think is just the most broken champion.
I think the team composition of UT Dallas definitely revolves around taking objectives. They have incredible objective control with the Cassiopeia, with the Kai'Sa, with the Trundle. They're going to be able to take those objectives very quickly because the Cassiopeia and the Kai'Sa both have such high amounts of DPS, and the Trundle obviously is going to be able to put the pillars down and zone off the enemies really effectively. So we're just going to have to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
So let's just go lane by. What's up?
Yeah, the Trundle also gets to have Ornn, who's a tank, to steal stats from too. So that'll also be nice because the Jax isn't quite the tank jungle that he wants to be picked into.
So let's just go lane by lane. Malphite's into Ornn. I think Ornn wins just because Malphite, not a great champion. Pre or post 6.
I definitely agree with that. Ornn has a lot of damage. He can build items in lane, which just allows him to outpressure Malphite and outsustain. And then
the jungle, Trundle versus Jax. What are your thoughts on that?
I think this is pretty much a skill matchup between the two. It's really who has better ganks and who can get more early pressure. The Trundle will be able to do pretty well into Jax, I think. But Jax, I think, has the easier gank.
Yeah, I agree with that. And as far as clear speeds go, they have both relatively equal clear speeds. Gank effectiveness, though, I think that Firefly is going to have it getting in there, getting CC down, then Faith will. So I think Firefly's goal is going to be to gank, whereas Faith is going to be to farm, because Trundle in the late game is very scary to me. I really think that Trundle is easily one of the best late game monsters that you're able to have on the team.
Yeah, but Jax is also pretty good late game too.
That's true. Jax is able to put out so much damage in the late game. So I guess we're just going to have to see how the game ends up going, because that really affects how the junglers will end up playing.
And then we come to mid lane.
Syndra.
I do think Syndra has the easier time in the early game, but as it's gone with every mid lane this game, it really depends on who gets ganked more and who has better ganks.
Yeah. And Syndra, like we said, can stay out of range of Cassiopeia. But Cassiopeia, I think, scales better and is able to control objectives better because of the DPS.
There's no doubt that Cassiopeia scales better. And then bot lane. Bot lane, I think the early poke, depending on how much Jones and Keen get hit by the poke, can be in Ezreal's favor. But
Mhm.
the later the game goes, I think Kaisa will just be able to take over the game much more than Ezreal.
Yeah, especially since the Ezreal has Kleptomancy.
And
But
then Rakan also brings a lot of engage that can be comboed with the Malphite too, which Karma doesn't bring nearly as much,
oh, we got into a pause.
just like every game.
And according to one of the members of UT Dallas, wait, what does that say? Hold on.
Uh,
Top has to restart his PC crashed.
Yep.
Yikes, that's real unfortunate.
Yeah, so we're
But
gonna have another minute or so.
we can take this time. Oh, he's reconnected. That was fast, huh? Anyways, we can take this time to introduce the teams. So this is Game 5 of the South Regional Finals presented by CLoL, featuring UT Dallas and George Mason. On the blue side, you have UT Dallas featuring Will Win on Malphite in the top lane, Faith on Trundle in the jungle, X-Case on Cassiopeia in the mid lane, the Johns on Kaisa in the bot or in the ADC position, and joining him will be Keen in the support role.
And then on red side, we've got George Mason with Ion on Ornn in the top lane, Firefly on Jax in the jungle, Syndra being played by Root, and Enrique on Ezreal, and Alix playing Karma. And
Yeah,
the game has just begun. Pause is
the
done.
GLHF coming out from Ion. So now we are getting into the game, and you see 5 members of George Mason roaming together. Are we going to see
Yeah.
a cheesy invade?
I think it's there to potentially stop the invade, because Will Win and Faith have gone
yeah.
into the topside jungle every game, so they're hoping to be able to get a cheesy kill.
Yeah, and it worked out for them 2 games ago with the Morgana. They get the stun onto wait, was that Alex's Morgana? I believe so.
Yeah,
Onto Will Win's whoever he was playing. They end up getting on Gangplank, and he ends up getting killed. And really, the game just spiraled out of control.
yeah. It doesn't look like there's really going to be any invade. It's kind of like a mind games of how these invades are going to work. But I expect Will Win to get a late invade if Trundle goes towards the bottom to start, which doesn't quite look like. I think we're going to have a mirrored jungle, so we're going to be looking bot lane at like 3 minutes for how this goes. Just around 3
The
minutes.
Jack Skink. That definitely
Well,
sounds.
yeah, both junglers should be getting there around 3 minutes, but we have a cheese in the tri-bush.
Yeah, Enrique. Ooh, there you getting that extra gold pouch, spending it. Plus 70 gold. That is the power of the Ezreal Kleptomancy. Gotta love it.
Yeah, so we're going to want to watch
John,
it.
ooh.
How? Oh,
Already the Ignite being used in the flash out by Alex. Now Enrique. Alex so low is already half back 2 minutes into the game. That is not a great sign.
I think the 3 pots will be able to sustain her enough, but that's not a great position to be in bot lane.
You know, yeah, personally, I'm not sure. Do you think it would have been better if Alex had backed, or do you think just using all 3 pots is a better idea?
I think all 3 pots. You can't afford to really back. Your AD carry will just be like abused in the 2-on-1.
Okay. Meanwhile, in top lane, you know exactly what I was thinking was going to happen. Ion is going to bully Will Win off of CS, and come the 3rd or 4th wave, Will Win is going to be too low to contest any CS, so he's just going to sit back and hope to get the experience when he can.
Yeah, the Billow's Breath, or whatever it's called, that just does so much damage to the Malphite, because it does AP damage, max health. Like, Malphite wants to build armor, he has high base armor, and he's getting dealt percent health and magic damage.
Absolutely, and you see right there, he's so low compared to Ion, and he doesn't have the mana to keep CSing, so he's going to be forced back.
And it
And
looks like Trundle got the advantage in the clear, being able to go with the full clear to Jax's partial clear.
yeah, and he's already backed and picked up his tier to the Stalker's Blade. So he's definitely at an advantage so far.
Yeah, they're both heading towards top side, so they might fight a little bit over that scuttle in the river, depending on who finishes the camps first.
Mhm.
But as the Jax, I definitely wouldn't go into that river as you're orange backing, so Malphite will be able to collapse on you pretty quickly.
All right. Yeah, Enrique backing, picking up his tier, and now the Johns and Keen trying to push in this wave as fast as possible. Enrique didn't. Oh wait, never mind. He's gonna be able to spam his abilities, as well as Cassiopeia having the tier completed as well, spamming.
Or that's Syndra that has the tier completed.
Yeah, no, excuse me, Syndra, not Cassiopeia. 5 hours in a cast, any brain. Syndra has the has the tier completed as well. Going to be spamming abilities and getting all that extra mana.
Yeah, the tier just is so good right now with being able to get so much more AP with all of the mana item buffs.
Mhm.
And the changes on how they want more mana versus mana regen and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm personally very happy with all the changes that were made. It really brings a lot of power back to mid lane as opposed to just in the ADC position or, God forbid, just tank tops ruling the game. So I'm personally happy with it.
Yeah, although I still think better bot lane wins. Like, bot lane still has the ability to just take over the game.
That's true. And speaking of bot lane, you have Firefly and Route coming down to try and get a gank from the backside onto Keen and the Johns. They spot
Keen
them out.
doesn't know
But
he's
the
in
Johns
danger
actually no,
yet.
he didn't. Yeah, the Johns is in a bad spot right now. 4v2 situation. You're not gonna win. Grand entrance used, and he's forced to flash out. Now gets stunned up. The Johns just got to back off. First blood going over to Alex, and now the Johns not contesting, and that is going to be the first Alex.
I think it would have been much more beneficial for Syndra to get that. She's going to lose some minions mid lane, and she only got the assist, but it would have helped out a lot if she was able to get that kill.
Absolutely. I liked out. Nice. Anyways.
It does.
Yeah, now you see Kai'Sa in the bottom lane. That's a lot of minions that she's trying to clear right. John's trying to clear right now.
Yeah, bot lane's going to keep pressure for a while.
Mhm.
Just with all of the kills and whatnot, and the assist gold, Ezreal is really going to be able to take advantage of that. Being under turret's not a good place when you're playing against Ezreal. He just gets to free poke you with the Q for more gold. He's like down 10 CS and pretty much even in gold just because of that Klepto. But Trundle's coming down here.
He's gonna get spotted out by the control ward. Gage is going to be coming. Pillar blocks off Alex, who's flashed out of the way. And now the damage is coming through huge from Enrique, looking for the kill onto the John, running for Q hits onto Faith. And now we are back into a neutral state. Some more Kleptomancy procs by Enrique.
Yeah, and the Karma doesn't have too much mana to help keep this wave from pushing super hard into him.
Mhm.
So this is likely going to crash and give him a good back for the Kai'Sa and Rakan.
Yeah, but Enrique's tanking a tower. He wants.
I think he's just trying to freeze it so that they lose a lot if they back.
Yeah, but now the Johns and Keen calling out his freeze. They're gonna break it. Now you have a bigger wave crashing into the tower than before. So I think the Johns and Keen are still gonna get a really good back.
Yeah, they were forced to stay that extra wave, which might give Karma enough mana to help push back the next wave.
Mhm.
And it doesn't look like... never mind. Rakan is backing. So, yeah, there's no way they can push out this bottom wave fast enough. Even with the Ezreal ult.
Uh-oh, in the top lane, will win. Just soaking up the damage as well as he can. Ione.
And as usual, they're giving blue buff over to Syndra, so With
Yeah,
Jack's
makes sense.
bot lane and Trundle top, there's a chance that they could go for Baron, but without knowledge of where Trundle is and no wards on the top
Wait,
side.
wait, do you
I
mean
don't think-
dragon?
Or yeah, Dragon. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, it's a little too early in the game to be going for Baron. No, but you're absolutely right. I definitely, Dragon is a threat that really could be taken advantage of right now. I'd love to see Firefly and teammates just go and try and take it right now.
Yeah, and they should know Trundle's up on the top side because he just handed off the blue to Cassiopeia. So there's a chance that they can potentially get something done bot lane. And Ornn's back, so he could teleport in full health and full mana. And Malphite would have to
sacrificing-
deal with a wave.
Yeah, although it'd be sacrificing some health for an Infernal Dragon, which ultimately I do believe is it's a good trade for the Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, although I definitely wouldn't give first tower for it.
Yeah, but I mean you're against a Malphite. He's not gonna get from full health.
Yeah, and it looks like Malphite's going Abyssal Mask for the extra damage for Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is going to do so much damage in these teams.
Oh no, Firefly looking for X case. Faith is there, but the damaged route just deletes X. Now Faith is getting the help from Keen, who gets the quickness off, and now the Johns takes out Firefly, and now the return kill onto Route is trying to go through. Faith flashed forward, but it doesn't matter. Kaisa, the Johns gets the double. Now Enrique showing up saying, hey, why'd you do that? I'm here. Fight me. But unfortunately, it seems like the Johns, Keen, and Faith are just going to back off.
And that's the power of the Rakan and Kaisa. They can just follow up on stuff that happens so far away, just so quickly compared to Ezreal, Karma. It just... You can't do too much in that bot river without the threat of those two joining faster than your bot lane. You really have to have them under turret if you want to do anything in that river.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And it looks like this time we have Jax on the top lane and Trundle bot, but it looks like Kaisa's backing, so we're not going to get anything with this dragon. It's an Infernal Dragon, so I'm surprised it hasn't even been attempted yet. I feel like both teams would want to get that. Both teams scale really hard with Infernal.
Yeah, both have so much damage to put that Infernal Dragon, that's just gonna amplify your chances of winning a team fight.
Yeah, especially like if Cassiopeia gets it. Not having to build boots just helps so much with Infernal. Just the extra AP that you'll get from having that 6th item.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that we haven't really seen more plays made around the dragon. The game is relatively even. The only 400 gold or 300 gold lead in favor of George Mason, and that's just because of the blood. But really, I want to be seeing more plays around bottom lane and really trying to force that dragon as much as possible.
I think both teams are just farming it.
Flaws.
I think both teams are just farming it out, just because it's such a important match that they don't want to potentially throw it by over aggression with a dive.
Yeah. Really, it's better just to sit on your hands and not die than it is to try and force a play and pretty much just lose the even game that you've had so far.
Yeah, and it's pretty even on farm across the board.
Unpause.
And we're back to watch more intense farming.
I mean, Ione is kind of kicking Will Wynn's butt in CS, but that's kind of to be expected in a Malphite and a Warden matchup.
Yeah, but they're both tanks, so it's not the end of the world if one of them falls behind. They're both going to be able to soak damage. It will become important for Ornn to get tanky, though, as Cassiopeia will shred him.
Ooh, Firefly looking for Faith, and Call of the Forge God coming in. Now, Case is coming in, laying down some damage into Fire, determined to kill Faith. And let's see, Firefly actually did Faith, but also you have Keen and Faith getting killed themselves. Ione is not it, or is it the fight, but the kill, double kill going over to XK's. Ladies and gentlemen, what's happening? Route getting taken out himself by Will Win, and now the Johns and Enrique fighting each other, but the Johns comes out ahead. Ione on the back line running away, and he's going to succeed in his goal.
Yeah, that fight was so close, and I think it came down to the death stance that Kaisa had. I think that was pretty much the reason why she was able to live.
Absolutely.
Actually, I'm absolutely certain that was the reason she was able to live. The extra healing that she was able to get was just enough to not die to the Ezreal when he went in on her at the very end.
Yeah.
And because of this, it looks like we're going to get another fight near Dragon here, as both teams are kind of preparing for this.
George Mason actually starting the Dragon. UTD are nearby and willing to contest it. You see Faith walking up already.
But
Alex is trying to do some zoning as well. Syndra is going to be following Will Win down. No unstoppable force available from Will Win. 600 health, and the red team takes the second and Dragon. Actually, that's the first one. And now the team fight is going to seem to try and break out. Now, Alex and trying to run away, as well as Firefly and Ione on the back line. They all escape underneath the comfort of their own turret. Route is still in mid lane, but it doesn't really matter. We'll see how this turns out.
It looks like they're all able to escape, but they had to burn some flashes to do it, but I think it's still
Forge God coming into the John's getting a kill. Getting killed Route, and then shortly after the John's falls, Keen is on his back foot trying to get away. Firefly's counter just hits, and now Keen so close to dying. Ione trying to finish him off, but he cannot get close enough, and Keen manages to escape.
Yeah, that was well played for him on both sides, and it looks like
Tactical pause!
Yeah, it looked like Route was having some issues. He ended up just standing still in the mid lane and basically let Cassiopeia just kill him because of that.
Route and having internet issues kind of go hand in hand at this point, so it's not that shocking to see him. But in Game 5 of the South Regional Finals, that's not a great time to be having internet issues.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, especially since they don't have the big lead like they did last time. But I don't think it'll be too big of an issue. And it looks like game's getting started in a second.
Yeah, game does get unpaused, but I really do think Route's gonna, because, I mean, let's face it, the last time he was having internet issues, he was AFK for the majority of the game. So, if he's gonna be AFK for the rest of the game, God help George Mason. I think it's time for Route to say, alright, let's pause the game, and then he runs to the nearest McDonald's, uses their free Wi-Fi, because maybe that'll be better than what his internet connection is right now.
Yeah, that'd be real unfortunate if he disconnected, but I do think that they have the ability to win this, even with the death to Cassiopeia that he kind of gave over for free.
Now Ione looking for Will Win. They're both slapping each other with their spaghetti that is still not cooked. Or very cooked spaghetti, actually. Very limp spaghetti noodles.
And Orange winning this pretty easily with his percent health damage.
Yeah, Ione spaghetti not cooked fully, and it's still got a little kick, but now Alex getting engaged on flashing, getting the kill really, really easily. Wow, that damage was insane!
And that's why she's pretty much like perma-banned in any solo queue, any region.
Yeah, and now
she's
you see
so
X
strong.
Looking for Route, and Faith is coming in as well, gets this done, and Route is going to be walking away with his life.
Yeah, if they don't do something to stop this Kaiser from getting more ahead than she already is,
like
she's
getting
just going to take over the game. Yeah, she's just going to take over the game by winning every team fight with him.
Yeah, Call of the Forge guy coming in. It's looking for the case, does succeed. Now Unstoppable Force coming in, and now counter comes in. Firefly gets its own onto XCase. We get taken out. Kill, actually got the kill onto XCase, but now the back off is coming through from George Mason. They get they get one kill, lose a member. They're happy with that.
Yeah, I think
Um,
oh, I forgot what I was
What were
going
you
to
saying?
say. Sorry. I think
nah, it's all good.
really it's just even across the board. So they're just going to give over the um, Rift Scuttle or Rift Herald just because Kai'Sa's so strong.
Okay. Yeah, no, Rift Herald is being started and taken by UTD. That's very good, especially with their team composition. With the Trundle, and like, oh, the quickness and everything being popped onto Enrique. He's flashing, using Arcane Shift, and he's going to be getting away. Now Alex is looking for the return engage, but Faith comes in and says, hey, no, you can't do that right now. Anyways, as I was saying, before I was so rudely interrupted,
Looks like
the
we're
Rift
gonna
Herald
get a team
will be
fight mid. The Ornn doesn't really have all that much mana to be able to do too much in this fight.
Yeah, Call of the Forge God does go through, and now Firefly is looking for X Case. Does not have counter available. Is going to cast it as soon as he can, I imagine. Gets grounded. Let's see.
We're just getting a lot of fights where the engage doesn't work, so neither team's willing to fight. Because neither team is all that great at re-engaging if they don't have their ultimates out. And Kai'Sa was backed at the time, so she's got the majority of the gold lead. So she's really important for these team fights.
Okay. So, I think now that we're back into a neutral spot. 3 kills down is George Mason. Only 1,000 gold behind, which is still a manageable gold deficit to be at. But it's still pretty tough, especially when you have all of the gold being on the enemy Kai'Sa.
Yeah, I think they're going to get outscaled for a while until basically 6 items. And then you can get the Ornn extra items that will help with the scaling. But I still think it's outscaled because of the Cassiopeia and Kai'Sa are just so strong late game. And Baron's going to be up in like 5 seconds, so we're going to start to see the Baron dance start all over again, and it's just an Ocean Dragon, so no one's going to particularly want to go take that.
George Mason does have dominant vision control of the Baron
Oh,
right now.
bot
And
lane.
Ione is getting in a bad spot, forced to flash and dash out of the fight, but he ends up succeeding in the preservation of his life and ends up still with a relatively full health bar.
And I think I spoke too soon. I guess both teams are going to start to fight over this Ocean Dragon because they both feel ready to fight.
Anyways, Call of the Forge God is coming through, gets slow on 5 members, and then to knock up onto 3, and then Firefly getting in with the big stun onto multiple members. Now, 5 members of UTD are trying to run away from George Mason, who actually decided to peel themselves and run towards the mid lane. They're going to try and take down this tier 1 mid tower.
Yeah, and I think they will be able to because Kai'Sa's backing and Trundle doesn't appear to be going anywhere. He's dropping
Rift
the
Herald's onto the mid lane, or on the bottom lane. I like that.
I still think
away from the mid lane. It's a good call.
I still think they get this turret though.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, Rift Herald isn't gonna go take that bottom tier 2 tower either.
Yeah, they'll just send 1-2 people to go catch it, and the rest will be able to stop a Baron if they even try. I think he just cast it just because it was running out of time, so he might as well.
It's going to draw some pressure away, but now the Baron is actually going to be approached. Ione does have... Oh, it's going to be started by Team UT Dallas. There is still vision on the Baron pit. What are you doing? Firefly does have a ward available. He's going to try and ward hop into the steal. 1300 health, and blue team takes the Baron Nashor, but now the level wards are coming through, and now the ultimate is used by XKs, and Alex is solo. The John is on a killing spree now, getting so many kills. XKs takes out Alex as well. Ione is on the backside. He's going to get taken out by XKs himself. Now Enrique is trying to run away. Firefly and Enrique are the only sole surviving members of George Mason. Now the Baron is going to be the Baron minions are going to be pouring onto the tier 1 tower, while Will Win is in the top lane, going to be split pushing for that tier 1 top tower. I don't think they're going to be able to end the game nor get any inhibitors, but cracking 2 tier 1 towers is going to be a great place to start. They're going to take this tier 2 mid tower, And now the DPS, like I was saying, you have the Kaisa. Cassiopeia not really contributing to the tower taking, but there's so much DPS on that Kaisa and so much damage. She's going to be able to take that tier 2 tower with ease.
Yeah, and Kaisa has the Gwinsus and the Stinger to just give more damage in these team fights, and she did so much work in that team fight, pretty much finishing the Syndra, who was at half health, and just killing the Karma outright. And Ezreal was brought down so low too. She pretty much just single-handedly carried that team fight in that one with her great ult onto Syndra. And the Gwinsus completed and the Stinger will just help so much more with that extra cooldown reduction to get that Q off more often.
Yeah, when you're able to use that as much as you can, then, I mean, honestly, you're supposed to use it as much as you can.
Yeah, the Q is the majority of her damage at the moment until she finishes that Nashor's Tooth. Then the W will also start to deal some damage too. But
Yeah.
the Gwinsus is the important one because extra AD from that is going to be so good for her.
Will Win has got a really nice split going in the bottom lane. Use the Banner of Command on the Siege Cannon minion, or the Baron Empowered Siege minion. It's gonna be doing so much damage to the turrets.
And they don't have any minion dematerializers to deal with that easily, so it's just going to continue to push.
Let's see, both teams really want this engage. We're on a knife's edge, ladies and gentlemen. Who will make the first move to engage onto the enemy? This tower is going down whether or not George Mason likes it or not. Yo, you got the two siege minions.
Yeah,
bottom
meanwhile,
lane. Now
bot
the Call
lane.
of the Forge got being used, knocking up 2 members of Team UTD, and now the fight is breaking out. Run taking Okeen immediately. Now Alex is going to be next to fall. Xcase is on a killing spree, and now Rooted is Jion, and he gets taken out as well. That is 4 members of George Mason down. UT Dallas are going to be looking to try and finish this game out. The inhibitor will be falling down in the mid lane, and then shortly after in the bottom lane. Now, the DPS is going to be shining. You have 15 seconds on anybody else. Firefly is running away from XK's, who's zoning him out extremely well. And that's going to be the ace for UT Dallas. Faith and Will Win, whacking away with the minions at these in your Nexus Tower. But now 2 seconds till Alex is spawning. He's not going to be able to do anything. So many minions. The Nexus is going to fall. And UT Dallas will be your South Regional Champions, ladies and gentlemen. Woo!
Yeah, that
What a
came down
game.
to a great team fight. They were finally able to kill the Kaisa in a team fight, but it doesn't matter. Cassiopeia at that point had scaled up to the point where she could just kill anyone who walked near her, and she just finished the team fight for them, just burning through Jax at the end to ensure that they get the win. It was just a